Hey, everybody, it's Debbie Potts, the host of the Low Carb Athlete podcast and the creator of the Holistic Method coaching program, where I'm helping athletes that may be like you, driven, ambitious, high performers, figure out what is the best program for them to lose weight, to get stronger, to improve performance, speed, power, but also just be healthier and really figure out how we create a personalized program is an investigation of the external stressors, chronic stressors, lifestyle habits, your current workout program, working on the lifestyle, but really starting with nutrition, what we eat, when we eat, how, why, and when, and figure out your macros and experiment, and ideally testing and not guessing with the CGM or Keto Mojo, Biosense, and then really finding out what's going on under the hood to improve your health. So I like to test and not guess with functional lab testing, get a full blood chemistry panel from your doctor, or we use Ulta Labs or DHA Labs, and then get hormone panel is Dutch complete test. It's over 24-hour period of time, dried urine test, and then we can learn more about your cortisol, melatonin rhythm, and your other hormones, and so much more. We really learn from the patterns that we see in the Dutch test. And then a GI test, if it's Genova Diagnostics GI test, 1 or 3 day sample, or the GI map are both great tests. There's also Vibrant Wellness GI Zoomer there. Really, I want to know what's going on in your gut, because athletes, we tend to be doing a lot of cardio training over 45 minutes. We tend to have a stressful, busy life. And historically, I know a lot of athletes are not eating the optimal foods and tend to get the quick and grab and go foods that might be packaged, processed, vegetable oils, and also lots of sugar. So if you are wanting to figure out what to eat, we can use the microbiome test, figure out what's going on, hidden internal sources of stress, and then we can work on figure out what nutrition macros work best for you based on your exercise schedule that day, and really mapping it out for the male and female. But there's more. We need to look at what, not just your exercise and nutrition, but how are you sleeping? How is your exercise? How is your recovery and repair, your HRV? And really moving throughout the day. Like, you're not sitting down, like I just sat down for recording this, but trying to stand and move and get up and do some stretching or some squats or some pull-ups throughout the day, not just your workout you just did this morning. So really personalizing the Holistic Method program for you, because you are a unique individual. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. If you're watching the YouTube channel, is best to watch. I recently did the DNA company genetic test, and I did a little podcast with one of the experts on genetics last week. And I honestly haven't really dug into all this until that call. So just to go through, my focus today is to teach you a little bit about heart rate variability. But before I get into HRV and some other articles I want to share, if you do genetics, not everyone likes to share their genetics, but I find it interesting because if you know my story, I used to compete in my age group in Ironman, triathlons and marathons, and trail running and cycling. In 2013, suddenly it's 2023, coming up here as I record this a week away, that I went from top level performing my best in sports. My best times were 2012 to the worst of my life, the worst condition ever in 2013. And that was in within 6 months. My mission is to help you avoid going through what I went through and still damage my body so much I cannot race yet. Still, maybe I will someday if I get motivated, but I don't have the passion or drive or the energy to do it. But going back to the DNA report, what's fascinating is you click on this mood and behavior. And I was just looking at this today and thought I'd share because I just am real with you. But I think this is interesting. introspective of me. So you can look at your genetic markers. The DNA company puts this all together, an AI report. Burnout, there's actually correlation of your genetics with your ability to thrive or not. So optimal, normal, suboptimal, poor are the markers of your genetic SNPs. And then if you scroll down, it says a burnout summary. And I'm just going to go into this because we'll go into HRV, and I think it's kind of connected with sleep and the holistic method to train, fuel, and perform your best in life and sports and your future self. So burnout summary from the DNA company, and you can get a discount as always with our favorite products on my podcast, Low Carb Athlete, I think is our code. The burnout summary. Burnout is a chronic condition defined as a state of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive, prolonged, and repetitive periods of stress. Each person's ability to manage and resolve stressors and lower the risk of burnout differs. Your genes play an important role in determining your ability to manage and address burnout. Burnout is more likely to occur if you continue to exist in a heightened emotional or stressful mental state for an extended period of time. This can occur at work during project deadlines, at home or preparing for a wedding or large event, or existing in a particularly difficult relationship, or when you're training for Ironman and running your own business, as I did. Burnout, a deletion in your ADRA2B gene can increase the time that you exist in a heightened emotional state. As a result, stressful or emotional events, tasks, relationships, blah, 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 it takes longer for you to come down to a more calm and rested state. And there's a greater chance that these events can come at you faster than you can address them. This is a combination that's particularly effective in causing burnout if you're not aware or you're not properly addressing the sources of stress. So the point is, I really find it fascinating to be able to have all these tools in your toolbox to figure out how best your unique self responds to stressors, chronic stress. It's good, happy things like training for a race or, doing something that you love. But if you do it too much, like too much running or too much exercise throughout the day, or top that off with a stressful job or relationship or busy life as a parent, whatever it might be, fill in the blank. My genetics, one of the SNPs here shows I have a reduced tolerance and more likely to experience symptoms with burnout, because I've always wondered, why me? Why did I get burnout breakdown? Here are all these other people I know training and racing Ironmans every year, doing Ironman Hawaii. So that means we end up doing 2 Ironmans in 1 year. And other people are fine. Maybe they don't have the financial stress that I did running in my own fitness studio and then teaching classes all day and training clients and coaching athletes. I was doing a lot, burning the candle at both ends from 4 a.m. till 8 o'clock at night. Now, you might be like me. So, of course, your genetics are not the same, but this is a good example of why it might be beneficial to do a genetic test with the DNA company. So, me as an example, my burnout gene results. I have comp gene, AG, this medium comp profile, not typically associated with burnout. And then they do another one. I'm not going to read through this all, but you can see the genetic reports, which gene markers they use. And there's recommendations for my burnout profile. And then there's lifestyle recommendations. Tell your boss about adjusting work demands to support your mental health. Establish expectations for work and non-negotiable time. Block in your evenings. Make a list of things that cause you stress, and both on a daily and long-term basis. Get help on how you can manage each of these stressors. Time management and organization are usual sources of stress. Take courses, how to organize and manage your time effectively. That's called color. Wayne Cotton we would use is color your day or something like that. You have different colors for blue sky time, yellow mellow, red focus time, or whatever it was. You can color code all your stuff on your calendar and block it out. Time management is huge, but writing just pen and paper next to your bed and write down things that cause you stress at night. I do that in a journal and write my goals and manifest what I want to have happen today or tomorrow or later in life, promise yourself that you'll review those goals in the morning. I should do that. Identify toxic relationships. I had a few major ones that really caused me a lot of health issues. A very complicated client I won't go into that no one knows about, that it was a little intense and really messed my progress up in my health journey, as I was already on my way working with my so-called adrenal exhaustion recovery and repair. But you have setbacks, people like that are kind of crazy that come in your life, or you start to do too much racing and training when you're not healed yet. Habit recommendations on here are pretty interesting as well. So I want to share these tips with you. Learn how to recognize physical signs of stress, like a sinking feeling or increase in blood pressure, clenching your fist, or nervous tick. Plan to visit a sauna a couple times a week. And Huberman Labs, I like to listen to, suggest a sauna 4 times a week. So if you can invest in a sauna, as we are for our Christmas gift, getting a sunlight and sauna. I had one before we moved and I sold it. So I'm buying a new one for our Christmas gift to each other. Big gift, but it improves your longevity. So who doesn't want to spend money on optimizing their health, as I think is important. So I'm missing the sunset out there. Great sunset. Visit sauna. So doing that nighttime. Herbal teas, another one. Stinging nettle, chamomile, lemon balm, or lavender are great in the evening time. Whenever you schedule a large project into your calendar, block off a day or two after that deadline to create some self-care time, a well-deserved break to get you pull away before you start your next project, basically. And then whether you schedule a meeting, ask yourself, whenever you schedule a meeting, ask yourself if you could be a walking meeting, as I did with someone today, where their colleagues join you outside or by the phone, and you walk around the neighborhood or beach walk or outside around the building. Buying junk food. Don't do it. Your kids don't need it either. So just don't buy the crap that you think kids need to eat that. There's no reason. You're teaching them bad habits. So junk food that can reduce your ability to respond to stress. So what you eat, you are what you eat, right? Following people on social media that have more, that's a good one because that actually bothers me. Following people on social media who have more than you or post things that make you upset. You don't need that stress. I find I have that, what's called FOMO, not fear of missing out. What's the thing when people that have more followers or more downloads or more comments than me, I just have to say, I don't want to spend 5 hours a day on social media. So I'm not going to be the one getting my numbers up, but organically, if people like what I have to say, hopefully you guys share the podcast and the videos and do it for me, because I don't like doing it. I don't like bugging people. But these are great tips of behaviors to avoid. Another one I have to throw in here, this last one, always taking on tasks and requests and being unable to say no. That's a big thing for a lot of people I work with. It takes practice to say no more often, but it's a valuable tool. So those are some great tips. But supplements that give you as well in the DNA company burnout, magnesium glycinate, vitamin B12, ashwagandha are great adaptogens as rhodiola. L-theanine is good calming, good if you're sensitive to coffee, having that calms you down, but deep calm optimizer. So I thought this was pretty cool. This is in the DNA company report, and you can go through it, and I will do another video with just all these cool reports. It's just amazing. When I first started doing DNA Fit years ago and some other markers, how much information you get from there. So I feel like, you can get a lot of information from me as a coach if clients are open to doing this, but the diet, nutrition, the sleep, the hormones and fitness and body types are really cool as well. So we'll do that another day, but let me know if you want me to share. Look at hair health, skin health, but I wanted to share the fitness and recovery another day. Okay, so I'm going to move over, but we should go back to this report. It's pretty cool. Fitness and recovery. What kind of workout, rest, and recovery. So just to touch on, because this relates to what I'm going into, HRV. So you can see on your genetics what type of workout to do, how to train for females in cycle, lifestyle recommendations, habit, but recovery. A lot of times people are not recovering properly. And I know people I train with, that I swim with, they, I think, do a lot of training. I know I work out a lot. I mean, I'll go in the morning, but I swim at lunchtime. And then I sometimes go to the gym at night if we don't go in the morning. Or I do yoga. Ideally, I need to do it more. I say I do yoga, but I'm not doing it because it's wintertime and it's tough. I don't know how it's easier in summertime. So rest and recovery. Are you tracking your recovery? So I use Oura Ring. If you use Whoop or Oura Ring, I get my HRV on my ring. I, for 10 years ago, tracked my HRV with Sweetbeat. And if you have a Bluetooth heart rate monitor, you can use HRV Elite or Sweetbeat Life is one. I used their app for a long time and did a beta testing with them for when I had adrenal exhaustion. I did the test for 30 days. But I think it's important to understand how to improve your HRV, but looking at how to read what the HRV scores. So if you look up Hanu Health, it's Dr. Jay Wiles that co-hosts the Q&A session with Ben Greenfield, has a great podcast we did recently you can go listen to. But they have an article on how to interpret your HRV data and how athletes should read their HRV data. So a couple things on this article Dr. J wrote. An increase in HRV with a decrease in resting heart rate means your autonomic nervous system is improving and the body is better at adapting to stress. Remember, hormetic stress is on, off, you get stronger on the recovery. So lift weights, break down the muscle. Recovery period is when you're getting stronger, repairing, rebuilding. But if we don't give enough recovery time, we don't repair and rebuild, right? So we want to track, test and not guess. HRV, resting heart rate. HRV, remembers heart rate variability. I should have said that. So an increase in HRV, an increase in resting heart rate is HR, if you're looking at the slides video. It's a sign of accumulative fatigue over the long term. Now, when you have a decrease in HRV with a reduction in resting heart rate, it's a sign of being in an overtrained state. So it's really important to track all this. And I use Training Peaks with clients, and I'm going to start working with TriDot. And TriDot, should pulled up, will track all this as well and put it into your workout program. So I will do a podcast with TriDot soon and learn more on how you can get involved in their programs. So HRV is really important to track for your recovery. Now, you might feel like, oh, I'm pretty good, and think my scores were crappy and I should probably take a rest day and change my workout. Well, maybe you should, or just maybe go and just adjust if you're on your own. So this article talks about HRV data is best evaluated using trends over time and the rolling averages. At the same time, you'll see effects in your daily routine, such as when you engage physical exercise or meditate. Still, these are not indicative of improvements in health status or health of your autonomic nervous system. Individual values will give you the whole story, will not give you the whole story. One day of a lowered HRV doesn't tell us much, but a weekly downward HRV tells us a lot more. And I'll be honest, my HRV is usually 120 to 140, and lately it's been 70 or 80. And I don't know why. I'm trying to take it easier. And I am female, so I go late luteal phase. My HRV will be lower during luteal phase, so that's a clue. But also, I think I'm fighting getting a cold, and so I'm taking more zinc and vitamin C and some quicksilver supplements. So just pay attention and learn about your body. So exercise and rest are equally important. So if you've heard train hard, but recover harder, something you really need to look at. Like I have Normatec boots, and then we have the Biomat, and I want to buy a PEMF mat someday, and foam roller and the Hyperice ball and roller and gun. And so we got all this stuff, but it's actually using it, not just letting it sit there. So recovery is really important, especially if your training load is higher. but really tracking everything. So if you're training hard but not seeing much improvement in your HRV score over long term, it may mean you need to up the rest game. So one piece of advice they say is intermittent fasting can give your digestive system a break and divert the energy typically used in constantly digesting food, critical recovery processes that may have been neglected. Unhealthy stress can negatively affect progress. So creating healthy relationships. Remember, every stress response, I say, is a blood sugar response, but also impacts your gut health, will impact your HRV. So more stressors, external and internal, will impact your heart rate variability. So we want to look at all this information. So go to this hanuhealth.com, learn /how to interpret HRV scores as an athlete. So you can use the Hanu system to up your game, and they have good breathing exercises to do. And you have to put the Bluetooth strap on heart rate monitor to get the test results. Other article I want to go through is Elite HRV. So if you don't know what is HRV, looking at this chart here, there's LF, HF, and looking at the ratio of LF to HF. Now, a lot of programs that Oura Ring included in WHOOP do not say, as far as I know, I don't have the updated version, show me what is my LF, low frequency, and HF, high frequency. Low frequency is your sympathetic nervous system. HF is my high frequency, is my parasympathetic. So we want to ideally, and this is what I did with Sweet Beat Life, if you go back and find their app, I think they're still around. HRV describes many metrics and analysis techniques, the time domain, frequency domain, blah, blah, blah. You can go through and read all this technical. I don't want to waste our short period of time, but HF frequency, what it should be in low frequency power. I find this is really important to track because we want to see the relationship of our two nervous systems. And if we need to really get this information for balance. So in theory, is the bottom part is what I wanted to go over. Reading duration should be minimum of 5 minutes when you do your HRV test to be accurate. 2 minutes is confidence in low frequency, high values. High frequency values can be measured in 60 seconds. You can start measure LF as little as 2 minutes, but research says 2 minutes plus. So anyways, do 5 minutes heart rate variability test. The LF to HF ratio shows autonomic nervous system balance. A low ratio shows parasympathetic nervous system dominance, and a high LF to HF ratio shows sympathetic dominance. Now, you may have heard over the podcast, we've talked a lot about type A driven, ambitious, high performing athletes, high performers in general. A lot of people do too much. More is better. People get stuck in sympathetic dominance. So we don't have that resiliency or that flexibility, rather, to go back to parasympathetic to sympathetic. So same as burning fat, burning carbs, switching back and forth, nutritional ketosis, out of ketosis. We need to have flexibility in everything. And if our nervous system is too stuck in overdrive, we're going to see that chronic stress person be in sympathetic dominance. So if you can do something like HRV Elite, you can check out their website, elitehrv.com, to get information and reading how to get the information. You can learn a lot on their website, but wearing the chest strap is going to be more your heart rate beat to beat. The time between each beat is your heart rate variability, and you want more variability between the two. So you'll see the information on here, and it'll go through the data analysis website on this website page. Is pretty good. So I think if you can do a chest strap as Hanu Health, Elite HRV, those are going to help you learn more about your recovery and repair more accurately than just your Whoop or Oura by itself. So whatever, kind of look at both. Hanu Health, look at HRV. Hanu Health, their program is more taking action to improve your HRV by looking at breathing exercises on the app, and it will guide you through meditative breath work. So I think that's helpful. But HRV is not your heart rate, Remember, heart rate is the average number between heartbeats, while HRV is the difference between each heartbeat. So just to summarize here from Elite HRV page, improve training and recovery. We can use HRV to improve our training and recovery, really big, right? So that's why Training Peaks has it as a metric that we look at. We can help improve our fitness level. We can get faster and stronger, get healthier, address chronic disease, manage stress, and more. The key power to HRV is deep connection to your nervous system, which controls and responds to many important processes like digestion, respiration, metabolism, vision, hearing, smell, sexual function, and more. So it's so fascinating to me. And I think, looking at what you can do to improve your HRV is really beneficial to your health. So how can you improve HRV? Let's hop over here. Another article by Elite HRV, how you can improve your HRV. So really important, get better sleep. And I would see if I can put this in the show notes. Dr. Huberman, one of the top podcasts, has amazing toolkit for sleep that's free. And I have that link open here. Is one thing you can do. Practice breathing exercises. That's what Hanu Health is about. Breathing exercises, guided meditation, guiding 2-3 minute breath work sessions you can do easily. You just have to wear the monitor. Find balance in your exercise routine. That's what I'm doing with my athletes. Are you allowing a hard day and then 2 easy days? As we get older, we don't blame the aging process. We embrace the aging process, right? I hate people saying, oh, I can't do that because I'm getting older. That's BS. So we want to adjust how we train as an aging athlete. And we want to allow ourselves more recovery time. I actually perform better if I don't run back-to-back days. I run faster and my form's better and I'm stronger if I have 2 days in between. So I should instead be biking. If the weather was warmer, it's cold here in San Diego. It actually 60 in the day, but 40, it was 35 this morning. But wintertime, it does get cold, but it warms up. So I've not been biking as much. Okay, so stay hydrated. You can read about this, how mild dehydration can trigger a reduction in HRV. Did you know? And make sure it's not just plain water. Remember, you can listen to all of us talk about element and Redmond sea salt. I find water, I just drink it and then go to the bathroom. It comes in one end, out the other end. So hydration, you want to make sure you're retaining the water you're drinking or else you're still dehydrated. So we don't sweat out water, we sweat out minerals. So put some minerals in the water. All right, so that's a good one. Alcohol, as you should intuitively know, it will ruin your sleep and your HRV. So Dr. Huberman has a recent podcast out on alcohol that's on my to listen list on my next car ride to swimming. So good one to listen to. And he suggests not drinking alcohol or having caffeine 8 to 12 hours before you go to bed, which I don't know. I don't drink alcohol during the week. I say Friday or Saturday night if I want the cocktail and I have 2 drinks maximum, and it's a gluten-free vodka soda with muddled mint or cucumber or lemon or lime is usually what most people have. But I don't drink that much. And I don't drink during school nights, I call it Sunday to Thursday. And I don't really drink Friday and Saturday often, maybe one night or sometimes not, but it really ruins my sleep. And I know some other friends in the space stop drinking alcohol because they're like me. We'd rather good night's sleep and I'd rather wake up and have a great workout the next day. So alcohol will ruin, that sounds horrible, but it will impact negatively your heart rate variability, I think, for me. But this article says that 1 glass of red wine did not affect HRV, but 2 glasses decreased HRV between 28 to 33%. So those effects could last for days after the last drink. So less is more, people. Once again, eat leafy greens. This is actually, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to make a spreadsheet on a future video blog on what vegetables to eat. So I think I'm going to write this down: probiotics, prebiotics, polyphenols. I want to make a list of what should you eat besides meat and fat. So for looking at those carbs, we want to look at cruciferous. So we want to look at vegetables for our microbiome and our liver. So the vegetables they say on here are interesting, that leafy green vegetables were good for you, but did you know they could boost your HRV? So I don't know, everyone, anti-nutrients, you gotta look at what type, but researchers discovered while a person's intake of fruit, fish, or other healthy foods didn't influence HRV, people who ate lots of leafy greens as spinach, cooked or raw, kale, mustard greens, lettuces had healthier HRV. I don't know. That might, that is dependent because it depends on what vegetables we want to look at. Oxalates, phytates, lectins, FODMAPs, all that stuff. But that's how I use heart rate and HRV with clients, because we can look at foods that might be inflammatory to them because that food is a stressor. So what happens if we have a stressor? Our heart rate will go up and our HRV will drop. So identifying foods that are best for you, that is what I do with clients, is tracking our glucose and our ketones and food sensitivity tests, but also looking at HRV and heart rate. All right, I won't go into all these, but improve your work-life balance. That should be known. A gratitude journal, a study published in on HRV increased during gratitude journaling exercises. So you know what my rule is, and I just, for myself, and I tell my clients, I suggest this to them. All right, 3 things that I'm grateful for that day. How easy is that? It takes me a couple minutes, and I've stuck with that for a few. Well, I've lived here 2.5 years. So I've been doing that over 2 years. And I think it's really simple. I just keep it in a journal. I buy a yearly calendar journal book that I actually need a new one of. And I just write in 3 things. And sometimes it's more. Spend time in nature. Research shows that spending time in nature improves your HRV and reduces stress. Japanese special name for this known as Shinrin Yoko, also known as forest bathing. And there's science to back it. And walking in the forest versus walking in the city, well, that's kind of intuitive to me. If I walk in like downtown, it's very stressful. Same with if I'm driving on the freeway versus driving here, Del Dios Highway to Solana Beach. Calm, peaceful, relaxed, unless there's a slow driver. Like I was behind a bus today. That can be stressful. But walking or hiking, forest bathing, that makes sense, being in the forest, right? So forest bathing reduced physical markers of stress, lowered blood pressure, and reduced cortisol. Spending time in nature, green environments like the woods or forests seems to reduce mental stress and strengthen your HRV. So I know Ben Greenfield does that a lot and lives pretty much in his own personal forest. I like going to the beach in the morning. It's very zen. So I think that would be also valid on a sandy beach at sunrise, as I did this morning. Start a yoga practice. 60 minutes of yoga per week, 8 weeks long, they saw a drop in HRV. Now, I say, if I said this to clients to do 8 weeks of 60 minutes yoga, a lot of people say, I don't have time for that. So my new theory is something's better than nothing. And if you only have 5 minutes to get on your mat before bed and do stretching, that is great. So let's work on figuring out, your ideal day. If I'm working with you, and look at what time of day is best to do everything and create that sleep hygiene routine. If you want to do a yin yoga, I give links to people. I like Travis Elliott. It's free on YouTube, or I pay for his Inner Dimensions TV, which is what I use in my iPad, and I'll just do that anywhere I go. And I need to do it. That's a reminder to do it because I'm paying for it. But that 60-minute flow, yes, it helps your HRV, but don't feel intimidated that I can't do 60 minutes yoga. That's too hard or too long. So also helps you sleep, deep breathing. Meditation, using a weighted blanket. Those are great tips. So this is 12 ways to improve HRV. I know I've found other tips like humming, singing. So you can look up how to improve HRV. So you can check out different articles if you log in. I found this, this is what I saw. 17 ways to increase heart rate variability, calming music. There's lots of different ways, but humming and gargling are a common one. Intermittent fasting, the sleep meditation we talked about, decreased commuting time, omega-3, but that's not the list I'm looking for. But there's a great list of just singing, humming, gargling. Okay, last thing to talk about. I'm not going to go into this because I'm out of time to keep my 30-minute, but Huberman, if you go back to his website, hubermanlab.com, toolkit for sleep. This is brilliant. So this is free. It's on from his from his podcast on Master Your Sleep. And he created this list for better sleeping. So I'll save this for another episode because it's getting dark up here at my glass house. View sunlight going out 30, 60 minutes of sleeping, wake up same time every day, avoid caffeine 8 to 10 hours, sleep using apps, view bright lights, limit daytime naps. So there's a lot, and then a sleep stack. He likes magnesium threonate or magnesium biglycinate before bed. I like using biooptimizers, magnesium. There's apinogen. He uses 50 milligrams and 100 to 400 theanine, and 3 to 4 nights he'll take glycine and GABA. I know Dr. Let's call him Dr. Nickelodeon because I can never remember his name and it's right in front of me. Dr. James. Sorry, I call him Dr. Nickelodeon. Dr. James, the Mineral Fix and the book Win here that's sitting here. He has a lot of lists of supplements, but he likes, if you follow him on Instagram, myoinositol with glycine and magnesium is a good sleep stack. So creating a sleep hygiene routine, cold, dark room. I wear an eye mask. I have a weighted blanket. I'd like a chili pad, but I don't need one right now because it's cold. But alcohol, sleep medications, caffeine, they'll mess up your sleep. So anyways, lots of fun stuff to dive into. So if you guys like what you're listening to, let me know, give some comments, send me a message, go to the website, wpotts.net to get the links. And hopefully you enjoy these short versions. My glasses are crooked as I look at myself. We can dive into specific topics to help you, the athlete, be fit and healthy from the inside out, teaching you how to be the fat adapted athlete, but have metabolic flexibility so you can be carb metabolism, your backup fuel tank. So we don't want to be all or none, right? We still need flexibility, fat and carbohydrate metabolism, but fat is your main fuel tank. Optimizing your sleep hygiene routine, working on stress management, finding proper foods to heal and repair your gut. You all probably have leaky gut. I'm sure everyone has dysbiosis. The bad guys are outnumbering the good guys. I'm sure you have some type of yeast overgrowth, parasite, pathogen. I see it every lab test. So test and not guess what's going on under the hood. So if you want to know more and take control of your health, self-care, self-love, so it's a good investment in your health and your training and feeling, performing for yourself next year, but your future self, really start to take ownership of now as we age up, because I just lost my dad and that is inspiring me to help get you guys to do something about your health, because just because you're exercising a lot doesn't mean you're healthy. So being fit and healthy and happy is essential to improving the aging process and looking your best, moving, and living life to the fullest when you're 80. I see my parents' friends and they're all in their 80s now. And what is everyone struggling with? Muscle strength, balance. Their muscles have atrophied. They're not exercising. They're not lifting weights. They're not prioritizing protein. Happy hour starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They're not getting out for walks, all of them. So mobility, getting up off the ground. I just saw a study is the most important thing. And I've said that for years. Can you get up off the ground without assistance? That should be important to do as you age. If you're by yourself, if you fall and I can't get up. Anyways, we need to take ownership of our health. And I would love for you this new year to take pride of it's being okay with yourself to take priority of you first. Put the oxygen mask on first. So I'll get off my soapbox. I need to stand up and stretch, but I just wanted to send you a little message for the holiday season and get you ready for the new year and start planning out your year plan, quarterly plans, monthly, and then weekly. And if you need help, let me know. DebbiePotts.net. Have a good holiday.